Hi, welcome to ADHD Friendly. I'm Patty. I'm an ADHD coach, and my passion is finding ways to level out and ideally even tilt the playing field so that we are struggling less and thriving more. This is episode 199. 199. I am recording this on my own, so I have two of my dogs in here to help me focus on um, since Becca's not here for that support. So let's dive in. So today I am celebrating something with Becca. So I'm going to get to that first off in just a second. And then I'm also sharing a tip that I'm going to tie to theme days. So I'm going to talk about what that is and how to use them. And then our main topic today is accountability partners and how to use them to get more things done with more ease. Plus, of course, I'll finish with my book of the week. Let's start with my celebration. This past weekend, I went to Becca's bridal shower. She's getting married. And it was just lovely to finally be able to put a name and a face together and meet her family that I've been hearing about so much over the years. And she just looked lovely. And her fiance was just again, another lovely human being, supportive. They were just so obviously happy and in love, and it was just a lot of fun to go. My youngest went with me, and it was her first bridal shower, and she had a really good time. So it was just a great event, wonderful food, just so much fun. So I'm celebrating her upcoming wedding. All right. Next up, what did I purchase? I purchased my new jumper. So this was a item I found on Amazon. It's super cool. It's super comfortable. It's got pockets. I mean, it's just, I don't know if you're going to be able to see it very well. It's just so comfy, cozy. I love it. It was $34 and it just spiced up things that I'm rotating through in these literal dog days of summer. Like it could hopefully not get any hotter, but it's been a rough slog the last few weeks. So this is helping me tolerate that because it's so light and airy and it doesn't cling to me and it's very comfortable and I just love it. So that is my what I purchased this week item. And now for my product of the week. I shared last week that I went to an estate sale and I purchased some Fiestaware. So I'm making that my product of the week. They still are making new Fiestaware and you can still buy it brand new in stores. I like to hunt for it at estate sales. And I just found the best one. I'm just starting to really compile, and here's why. So I wanted to highlight. So this was an older, not very old, but older set of dishes that I purchased. And this is what drives me crazy. It's hard to see because of the pattern, but there are little chips and little dings and divots. If you are listening to this podcast, I invite you to check out ADHD Friendly's YouTube channel where you can see everything I'm demonstrating. But it just gets dinged and chipped just through regular wear, and it drives me crazy. This actually is only one of two that's remaining out of the set of 8 that came with the set I purchased probably 3 or 4 years ago. And this has just been the example of dishes. I'm constantly not having a full set of dishes because they just crack and break. And I literally just had one last week that just had, a big crack down the side. And I was like, okay, that one's done. Look, there's a little chip there. Like it's just constantly chipping. And so I'm tired of this kind of disposable quality dishes. And I have started collecting slowly but surely Fiestaware. So looks like this on the bottom. I'm just gonna put them in the shot so you can see. They come in so many fun colors. This is their bistro bowl, great for like a big bowl of cereal or stews and soups. And it's microwavable, it's dishwasher safe, it's solid as can be. And a lot of these are really old and literally like don't show any worse for the wear. I Love them. They make me happy when I see them in my cabinet. I first was introduced to these from my sister, who has just a beautiful collection of different colors. And I just really never thought of them in terms of, for me, I'm drawn to them, not just because they're fun in their colors, but they're adorable. And that speaks more to me than just about anything. They're not all that inexpensive. So I love finding them at estate sales. So these were $4 each. And I snapped up every one that they had, which is why I have so many colors of them. I don't care about them matching. I'm just enjoying the variety. So that's my item of the week. If that's something that speaks to you, it could be something you just, are looking to get a brand new set, or like me, kind of on a treasure hunt. It gives my brain something to hunt for when I'm going to yard and estate sales. And if I see something I like and it's a good price, then it's like, oh, okay, I'll add that to it, instead of this like, oh, I'll get a whole set and it's done and now it's chipping again. So that is my item, my product for the week. All right, on for my tip for this week. My dogs have fallen asleep. I have put them to sleep. I hope I'm not putting you to sleep. They're just completely not even like looking in my eyes. All right. My tip for this week is how to use theme days. And theme days are just exactly what they sound like, kind of batching things together and doing like things on a specific day. So you're batching things by theme. It creates sparkle, it creates interest, it creates that, ability to get activated more easily. And I wanted to share some examples of what this could look like. So I've got a bunch of different examples. So these are ways to get things done by batching them. So maybe you have an administrative day, an admin day, where you're catching up on emails, you're writing out bills, you're filling out forms, loose ends. If you have kiddos and a bunch of things that need to be completed form wise, it's like, okay, I'm going to go and take care of all of that. I'm going to submit them online. I'm going to do that today. Maybe planning days, like doing all of your planning in one day. I do this at the end of the month when I do my monthly and my daily planning. It's kind of a bigger planning focus. So I like to kind of make, okay, it's going to be a planning day. Maybe you have a maintenance day where you're just kind of, or a tidy up day or a catch up day where you're trying to get back on top of laundry or dishes or, cleaning. You could have maybe some structure around paying bills, where you're having like financial check-in Friday or financial Fridays, where you're just looking at your budget, you're tracking your spending, that kind of thing. Other ways to focus around theme days could be personal growth themes. So maybe I've shared my word of the year is dare. So maybe I have like try it on Tuesday, where I'm trying something new each week. Or I have a dream day where I just allow myself to explore, what is it that I want more of, and what would it look like, and what are the steps to get there? It could be planning, but it could also be dreaming. I love this one, do nothing day. So it's like, hey, are you free? Nope, I'm booked all day. It's my do nothing day. Like, that sounds like heaven to me. I love a do nothing day. Maybe you have a learning day where you're structuring it around, I'm going to take a course, or I'm going to read something that I'm going to learn from, or I'm going to listen to podcasts or watch a documentary, something, focusing the day around learning. You could have errands day, creative day, celebration day, all kinds of themes, but navigating towards batching your things together around a theme creates interest, and it allows us to plan things. So it's, if something comes across your dashboard that doesn't have to be done immediately, but you have an admin day coming up, or you have an errands day coming up, you can kind of go ahead and pencil it in around that plan. So it creates a little bit more ease in getting things done. So again, this is episode 199. So if you have a theme day that you've tried, or this is something you've already implemented that you would like to share how it's worked for you and maybe add some additional tips, please post and share so that we can take advantage of the group experience, and love to hear what has worked for you around creating theme days. All right. And now for our main topic, accountability partners, because we're better together. We're able to get things done so much more easily than on our own, as evidenced even in this podcast. Like, I really struggle to record these without Becca here, which is why I bring my dogs in. I really depend on that energy, that exchange of not just talking to a video, on my computer, where I feel like I'm speaking to someone. It takes a lot of effort for me to create that feeling when I'm just looking at a Zoom camera. So accountability partners, they are someone who supports you to stay on track. It could be with a task, it could be staying on, consistency with a habit, it could be a goal that you've set. It's often reciprocal, but as in the case of me having Becca sit with me when I record, she's literally serving as like a body double accountability partner type role. She's not doing something herself at the same time, which often accountability partners, you can both be working on something, but she is supporting me to be accountable to holding my focus and my energy and sharing things in a way that I feel like my brain is better activated to make things clearer and speak in a way that hopefully resonates more when I'm recording with someone as opposed to just talking to a camera. So for people with ADHD, external motivation is often a game changer. And I want to just share a few of the benefits, and I'm going to share some examples of how you can use this a little bit more if you haven't used it at all, how you could start, but also you can kind of up the amount of things that you're doing it with if you've already put it in place and it works for you. So here are some benefits. It reduces your decision fatigue. So you don't have to check in with yourself. You are using that partnership to hold your focus. So it's not kind of taxing your metacognition to kind of be like, all right, am I off task? Am I on task? You're held to your task because that accountability is working for you to do it. It also allows those check-ins to happen because you have the urgency from that partnership and the structure. So it helps with time boundaries, it helps with focus, it helps with energy. There's lots of benefits here. It also feels supportive and positive. It does not feel punitive. So just like I share with, if you're looking for a body double, an accountability partner is also something to think about. Who and where are the right fit partners for you? Not everybody will make a good accountability partner for you. If you feel judged or if it creates too much stress, it's not going to work. So picking accountability partners that align with what you're trying to get done in a way that does create that support and that positive energy, not, kind of a negative judgmental energy, because that's going to drain you. All right. So here's some real life examples of accountability partners. And these are great for anyone, but they're really, really, really great for people with ADHD or executive function challenges. So maybe you commit to, I'm going to text you in the morning when I'm up. This comes up with a lot of my college students where they'll commit to, I'm going to text my parents and tell them like I'm up or I'm in my class, like I'm sitting in class. And it could be, that you're committing to doing one thing each day. So you text that you've done it, that you're committing like, okay, when I do that, I'm going to text and update that I've done the thing. It could be doing co-working sessions. So just, like I'm talking to a Zoom session right now, it could be a Zoom meeting or a FaceTime meeting, or it could be in person. So it can be virtual or it can be in person, but co-working sessions where you're both working on something, but you're doing your own thing, but using that partnership, that energy that it creates to do the thing with more ease. It could be sharing a picture of a completed task. So you might text someone and say, hey, I'm getting ready to put my laundry away. This is what it looks like right now. I'm going to text you a done picture. I have students that will send me a picture of, they uploaded a file and there'll be like a checkbox on the online platform that they have to submit it and it says completed. Again, I always share with students, if that helps pull you in, I'm happy to celebrate with you that you've submitted it, but noticing where does that accountability fit for you. So sometimes with parents, it's not the go-to thing. Sometimes it is. Sometimes they'll choose another student that they're friends with, or they'll choose to send it to me, or that won't work in that scenario. So really pay attention to if you have any resistance, because we want anywhere that you're tying in a plan for accountability to work with you, and that includes accountability partners. If you are looking for an accountability fitness partner, that can be another real game changer in terms of getting into action. I always say if I'm committing to go outside and walk and nobody knows I'm doing it but me, that's much harder than if my neighbor is going to be waiting for me at the corner at a certain time and I know they're going to be there. Oh my gosh, I am up and out. Like there's no way I'm not going to show up. So think about how that can work. I also like the idea of, I used to have somebody that we would talk on like Monday, Wednesday, and Friday mornings while I was walking on a treadmill and she was walking on a treadmill. And we were in different states, but we would show up and we would be active while we were catching up. And that was so much fun. Another way that you can be accountable is to have planning check-ins. So maybe you check in with you identify your 3 priorities for the day and you text them to your accountability partner and they do the same. And then you guys are checking in when you're done to share your progress. That creates accountability. It creates motivation. It's pulling you in to doing something that you want to do. And then finally, maybe you just have a shared Google Doc or a shared note in your notes app that you're updating your weekly progress. So it could be what you're spending money on, what you're eating, what you're doing to be active, anything that you would benefit from accountability. That's another way to tap into it. Noticing where you could use it, what creates the most ease, and who are you partnering with are all things to consider. So here's a few tips on how to be a good accountability partner, as well as how to find one. So pick someone you trust and you're comfortable partnering with. That's essential. Make your expectations clear. So make sure you're really clear about when you're going to check in, how often you're going to check in, what type of check-in. Will it be a text? Will it be an email? Will it be a phone call? Are you going to be checking in person? If within families, sometimes there's like, I've had clients that will just use a whiteboard and they'll just check it off on the whiteboard so that, let's say like it's a little stand in the kitchen. When anybody else in the house goes through, they can see how you're progressing. Nobody needs to tell anyone because they know it's there and they know other people will see it when they check it off. Lots of ways to do that, but make the expectations clear and make sure that what you are planning to do is something that works for that person. Because if they're getting like a bunch of texts every, few minutes, that might be overwhelming. That might be too much for them to be able to get to sustain. So making it really clear and checking in. And then another tip is don't look for perfection, just experiment using it with one day of the week and tweak. So just, I'm going to check in when I do this on Wednesdays. And then just notice how it works. Keep it ADHD friendly. So that means keep it low pressure, keep it flexible, encouraging. So you're acknowledging that progress, you're celebrating yourself for trying it and not judging if it doesn't work. Stay in that open, curious spot where if it's not working the way you thought, ask yourself what would work better. What would I tweak to make this accountability partnership work for me? If this sounds appealing, if you like the idea of accountability partners, I encourage you to pick one small thing and try it with someone that you are comfortable with and trust partnering with. Just experiment, notice how it works, notice what you like or don't like, and then tweak and adjust and continue moving forward. That's it. All right. Finally, we are at the end. I'm going to share my book for this week, and it is The Pretender by Jo Harkin. That is what it looks like if you are checking out my video on YouTube. I gave this book a 4 out of 5. It is a historical fiction novel back from the time right before Henry VIII, when there was a lot of turmoil and uncertainty about who had the rightful claim to the throne. And this was an actual little boy who was raised to believe he was the son of a very modest man who had older brothers and came to discover one day that he was actually the son of someone who had a claim to the throne. And he is then, his name changes multiple times. He is learning how to live a life of royalty in preparation for potentially being the next king of England. So I found this fascinating. I love to learn about different periods of history, and historical fiction is one of my absolute favorite genres. I gave this a 4 out of 5. I really did enjoy it. If that sounds like something up your alley, I invite you to check out The Pretender by Jo Harkin. All right, so now for my quote of the week. This is from Unknown, but it has to do with accountability. So I wanted to share it since it was so appropriate to our topic today. So accountability greatly increases your chances of doing what you say you are going to do. I agree, it does. That is it for today. As always, if you need more support than what you are able to glean on your own, I invite you to check out the ADHD-Friendly membership community, where we do a lot of partnering, accountability partners, body doubling, live sessions, and lots of on-demand things if you'd like to just kind of go in and consume at your own pace. Lots of courses and webinars on there to explore, to get a little more structure, to get things pinned down to work for your brain with more ease. I invite you to check that out, ADHDfriendly.com. Until next week, which will be episode 200. It's going to be a special one. I'll see you then. Tally ho.